The wagon rolled in 3 hours before sunset, trailing a dust cloud Royce Barrett had tracked since noon. He stood at the edge of his property, one hand on a weathered fence post, the other clutching a letter worn soft at the creases. The letter said she'd arrived today. It didn't say why her family was so eager to send her away or what they wanted in return. It didn't prepare him for the look in her eyes when she stepped off the wagon, a look that said she understood this arrangement better than he did. She wasn't here to start anew, she was here to bury something old. As the wagon drew closer and her face emerged through the dust, Royce felt a strange tightness in his chest, not anger or resentment, but a warning that everything he thought he knew about this deal was about to unravel. The agreement had been straightforward on paper. The Ross family owned 20 acres of grazing land bordering Royce's property to the east, land he'd coveted for years. After Thomas Ross died last winter, his sons had no interest in working it. They wanted quick cash, and Royce had it. But during negotiations, the deal shifted. The brothers insisted he take their widowed sister-in-law, Clementine, as part of the bargain, no explanation, no compromise. The letter was blunt, she has nowhere else to go. This solves a problem for everyone. Royce had nearly walked away. He'd built his isolated life deliberately, and a stranger under his roof was the last thing he needed. But the land was permanent, people were not. So he signed, convincing himself it would be a cold, practical arrangement. She'd stay out of his way, he'd stay out of hers. The wagon halted 30 feet from where he stood. The driver, the younger Ross brother with a thin mustache, didn't dismount. He jerked his chin toward the wagon's back, his face a mix of boredom and relief. Clementine Ross climbed down unassisted, her movement steady despite the long journey. Her gray dress was faded, her auburn hair pulled back tightly, accentuating the sharp lines of her face. She didn't look at Royce right away. Instead, she retrieved a worn leather bag from the wagon, its creases telling stories of too many miles and broken hopes. Only then did she face him. Her green eyes were piercing, devoid of gratitude or deference. She didn't smile or lower her gaze, just stood there, one hand on her bag, the other loose at her side, staring as if she could read his thoughts and didn't care. "Mr. Barrett," she said, her voice steady, neither warm nor cold. "I'm Clementine Ross. I assume you were told I'd be arriving today." Royce nodded, jaw tight. "I was told." "Good." She glanced at the house behind him, then back. "Then I won't waste time with explanations neither of us wants." The driver cleared his throat. "Papers are signed. Land's yours. She's your responsibility now." Without waiting for a reply, he turned the wagon, kicking up dust that lingered in the still air. Soon, it was a fading shape on the horizon. Royce and Clementine stood in silence, the space between them heavy with unspoken questions. He wanted to ask why her family was so quick to discard her, what she'd done, or what had been done to her, to make this necessary. But her hard, unyielding expression stopped him. It wasn't shame or fear, it was something sharper, daring him to ask questions she wouldn't answer. "The house has 2 rooms, Royce said finally, his voice rougher than intended. "You'll take the smaller one. Well's out back, stove works if you know how to use it. I keep to myself." "I expect the same." Clementine's expression didn't shift. "That suits me fine." She walked past him toward the house, her steps precise, as if she'd already calculated the distance to keep between them. Royce watched her go, hand still on the letter in his pocket. This would be simple, he told himself, she'd stay in her room, he in his. But as she paused at the door, head tilted as if listening to something he couldn't hear, that tightness in his chest returned, warning him he was wrong about everything. For 3 days, they barely spoke. Clementine kept to her small room, emerging only to fetch water or cook simple meals she ate alone by the window. Royce worked the land from dawn until his hands ached, pushing himself to ignore her presence. At night, lying in his room, he heard faint sounds through the thin walls, her chair creaking, fabric rustling, pauses that suggested she was listening too. He told himself it didn't matter, she was keeping her distance, as agreed. Yet the silence felt charged, like the calm before a storm. On the fourth morning, the smell of fresh bread woke him. Suspicion tightened his chest as he entered the main room. Clementine stood at the stove, sliding a loaf onto a wooden board. The table was set with 2 plates, 2 cups, and a jar of preserves he didn't recall owning. She turned, her expression neutral. "Found flour in the pantry," she said. "It would have gone to waste." "I didn't ask you to cook for me," Royce said, staring at the bread. "You didn't ask me not to." She cut 2 slices, placing one on each plate with her usual precision. "Eat it or leave it. Makes no difference to me." She sat and ate without waiting, her movements calm. Royce hesitated, torn between refusal and the bread's tempting aroma. He sat, and they ate in silence, the scrape of knives the only sound. He felt her watching him, assessing him like a wary animal. When he finished, he met her gaze. "Why did they send you here?" Her eyes flickered, amusement or anger, he couldn't tell. "You signed the papers. You know why." "I know what the papers said. Not what they didn't." She leaned back, hands folded. "My husband died 8 months ago. His brothers inherited the land, I got nothing but their resentment. When they found a buyer, they found a solution for me too." Her voice was steady, but cold. "You wanted land. They wanted money. I was the piece that made it work." Royce watched her clear the plates, her shoulders rigid. "A solution," he repeated. "That's what they called it." She turned to the basin, ending the conversation. 2 days later, Royce saw her outside, working the neglected vegetable plot with a hoe, her sleeves rolled up, movements practiced and sure. She didn't move like someone coddled, she moved like someone who knew hard work. When she noticed him watching, she straightened, meeting his gaze across the yard, unafraid. "You don't have to do that," he said, approaching. "I know." "Then why?" She leaned on the hoe. "I'm not going to sit in that room waiting for my life to happen. If I'm here, I'll be useful." Her tone was matter-of-fact, no plea for approval. Royce felt something loosen inside him. "That soil's been fallow a year. It'll fight you." "Everything fights," she said. "Doesn't mean it wins." She resumed working, dismissing him. That evening, he left a pair of leather gloves on the table. She looked at them, then at him. "Your hands will blister," he said. "They already have." She showed him raw patches on her palms. "But thank you." Something passed between them, not warmth, but acknowledgement. "Where'd you learn to work land?" he asked. "My father's farm, before he died when I was 12. Then it was just my mother and me until she remarried. My husband thought it wasn't proper for a woman to work like that." Her voice flattened on husband. 6 years, she added, answering his next question before he asked. "Long enough to learn proper doesn't fix anything." She ended the conversation, leaving Royce with questions he didn't dare voice. That night, rain woke him, followed by the creak of the back door. He found Clementine outside, soaked, staring at the ruined garden. "It's gone," she said, voice barely audible. "All of it." "We can fix it," Royce said, standing beside her. "Can we?" She turned, her expression raw. "Or do we just keep building things that wash away?" The question struck deep. He touched her arm, and she flinched toward him, not away. "Come inside," he urged. She let him guide her in, shivering. He wrapped a blanket around her, hands lingering. "I'm sorry," she said, "for acting like a fool over dirt." "You're not a fool. You've had too much taken from you." Her eyes met his, the distance between them crumbling. "You don't know what's been taken." "Then tell me." She hesitated, then spoke. "My husband drank himself to death over 3 years. He blamed me for everything, his failures, his shame. When he died, I felt relief. His family hated me for it. They had no right, Royce said. They had every right. What kind of wife feels relief? Her voice broke. The kind who survived something she shouldn't have. He brushed wet hair from her face, and she froze. They were wrong about you. She stepped back. Get some sleep. Morning comes early. The next day, hoofbeats announced trouble. The Ross brothers rode up, demanding Clementine. Questions about Thomas's death, the older one, Marcus, said. Bruising that doesn't match a fall. I didn't touch him, Clementine said, voice steady. He fell because he was drunk. Royce stepped between them. She's not going anywhere. You gave her up when you signed the papers. The brothers left, promising the sheriff's return. That night, Clementine told Royce the truth. Thomas, drunk and angry, had come at her. She pushed him away, and he fell down the stairs. I didn't push him down, but I didn't catch him either, she said. The brothers had coerced her silence, promising protection that never came. Then we make sure you're not here when they come, Royce said. Running makes me look guilty. Staying makes you dead. He took her hand. I won't let you face this alone. She searched his face. Why risk everything? Because 3 years ago, I let my brother die for a lie I didn't fight. I won't make that mistake again. Before she could respond, torches appeared, 6 riders, led by the sheriff. Royce met them with his rifle. She's not going tonight. The sheriff insisted, but Royce pushed back, revealing the brothers' fraud. The land was Clementine's inheritance, not theirs. The sheriff demanded the deed. Royce lied, saying it was inside, buying time. Clementine stepped out, denying the accusations clearly. The sheriff agreed to return in daylight, warning Marcus about the deed. You lied, Clementine said after they left. I did. We find proof tonight. They pored over documents, finding a clause about the deed held at the land office. At dawn, Royce rode to town, retrieved the deed through the clerk's subtle help, and returned to find the sheriff waiting. The deed proved the land was Clementine's. Marcus's fraud unraveled. The sheriff took statements, promising to arrest the brothers. It's over, Clementine said, tears falling. It's just beginning, Royce replied. 2 months later, the garden thrived, and Clementine's name was on the deeds. They'd married quietly, the land office clerk as witness. Standing in the garden, Clementine smiled, a real smile, full of hope. Royce joined her, ready to plant seeds for a future they'd build together, turning punishment into treasure.